So, welcome to our team happy hour. I am so excited to get started because, y'all, it's September and I have realized just how fast this freaking year is flying by. Oh my gosh, 10 spiders. Because Rachel Hollis is publishing the last 90-day tracker. And I'm like, holy shit, there's only 90 days left in the year. Like, can we all just let that soak in that there is only 90 days left in this year? Like, how insane is that? So it's more time than ever to make sure that we are getting on our ish and really reevaluating everything. And so that's why I'm really excited to do this Q&A, and we'll ask a bunch of questions. I will look over anybody's Instagram that they want me to look over, give some helpful tips, and we're just going to have a good old time. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the questions that were already asked. If you have any questions that you didn't get to ask, go ahead and put them in the comments, and I will get to them. So the first question, Missy asked, best ways to reach out to those watching your stories or liking your posts, but not necessarily following you. Creating genuine engagement without sounding like a salesperson. So, Missy, can you unmute yourself real quick? So you're saying people are watching your stories that are not following you currently?
Yeah, like especially the last few days, the stories and things that I've been posting, a lot of them are coaches that I've seen. So of course I'm not going to reach out there, but there are some that aren't. So I guess it's just like I said.
And you say, how do you know they're not following you?
Because they're not in my followers list, because I look up in my list. So I don't know exactly with all their algorithms how they're finding my stories or my posts, maybe from my hashtags or something I'm looking, but they're not necessarily following.
Okay, so you're hashtagging your stories and stuff? Okay, perfect. So I just wanted to get clarification on that. So I operate from this mindset of, if they're in your store. So let's think of Instagram as your brick and mortar store, right? So you own a coffee this is a coffee shop, right? You own it. And somebody comes in to that coffee shop and you're like, hey, do you want to, you wanted, okay, a half calf grande, I don't know, some fancy coffee. And then the owner's like, okay, hey, yeah. And we have this coffee on sale. Would you be interested in getting some of that as well? That person's not going to get like, oh, appalled that you're selling them coffee in a coffee shop. And so I really think that we put way too much pressure on ourselves, and we try so hard not to feel icky and salesy. And we focus so much on the icky, salesy, I don't want to be, the fear of it, that we end up becoming icky and salesy because we're so consumed and so worried about being that thing. And so my philosophy is if they're watching my stories, if they're liking my posts, if they are commenting on my posts, if they're showing interest in what I have to offer, meaning I have made it abundantly clear what I am here to do. It's my business. We all have it as a business page. And I talk about my workouts. I talk about my boot camps. I talk about all these things. So they know what I'm about. And so I will automatically slide in with the invite because they've showed interest, and I don't think of it as salesy, just like the coffee man doesn't think of it salesy offering the coffee that's on special right there at the register. So that's my philosophy. Now, if you are a newer coach, this is like for somebody that's a little bit more established and has been talking about it for a while, so they know what you're about. If you have not done a good job at knowing what you're about, meaning you don't post about what you have to offer every single day, you're not talking about enrolling in your boot camp or showing your workouts every single day, then I would not go straight in for the kill invite, because that does ring like, well, I don't even know what you were about. I was just watching your story of your cute kid. You never once talked about a boot camp. And that can be a little alarming. So the way I would handle that, and is what Josh has been getting us to do, is called connections. So finding a like common denominator. So if they're watching your stories and they don't follow you, you don't really feel like you've done a good job talking about boot camps or anything like that to invite them, I would look at their last few posts, read their captions, and find a like common denominator, something that you're actually interested in. Maybe it's their kids and they just won a prize and you want to congratulate them, or something along the lines of that, and strike up conversation that way. So lately I've been doing it through, like, I've been going through like pregnancy hashtags. I've been going through like pregnancy hashtags and seeing, okay, so this person's due. So I'm going to message them and say, hey, congratulations on your pregnancy. I saw you're due around the same time as me, which is so exciting. What are your symptoms like? Because I'm genuinely interested in knowing everybody's symptoms, because I'm a psychopath and I'm making sure, like, I literally am, I'm just psycho. It's cool. But before that, I would see things like outfits and I'd be like, oh my gosh, girlfriend. Like today, this girl had this really cute jumpsuit on. I was like, oh my God, that would be so cute if I wasn't pregnant, but I'm still going to ask her about it. And then she captioned Lizzo, thick thighs, save lives, it's just like, I love Lizzo. And so I was like, one, that jumpsuit, I need to know where you got it. And two, can we be best friends because you love Lizzo just as much as me? And we've struck up a conversation. I'm not bringing up my boot camps right now. I'm not trying to sell her anything, but I'm genuinely talking with her because I'm interested and she's cool. And then I'm going to slide in the boot camps eventually after a few days of talking and say, oh, girlfriend, I didn't know if you saw, but I'm actually enrolling for a boot camp right now. I wanted to know if you're interested because I love talking to you. Casual. So that's something I broke something. So that's something I would say to engage in stories. But just take the freaking pressure off yourself. Seriously, every single one of you, take the pressure off yourself from feeling icky and salesy. You are not icky and salesy unless you are doing this thing. Are you ready? Because I know somebody on our team that made this mistake and she's like, oh my God, that's why I wasn't getting any responses. You are not icky or salesy unless you are going to hashtag sending invites. And they're like, who the fuck are you, first off? And where did you find me? And what is this thing you're talking about? Because they have no idea. You're like a used cars man knocking on people's doors, offering them things. That's the only time you're icky or salesy. But if they are showing interest by watching your stuff, that's open door policy to invite them to this thing. I would honestly say that you're being stingy if you don't invite them to join you on this journey. How you invite them is totally up to you. So there's tons of different ways through connections, which is what I just talked to you about, or just straight out inviting. I personally do the straight out inviting process, but I make sure on my social media that you know what I'm about. Like, you guys know every single day I'm showing my workouts. I'm inviting to my workouts. I'm showing my shake. I'm talking about my boot camps. I'm talking about coaching. So when I do go straight in for the invite, they're not like, oh, what the hell is this? I just thought she was a cute little mom on Instagram. They know kind of what I'm about, so they're expecting it. All right. Did that help, girl? Okay, perf. All right, might be a dumb question. There's no dumb questions. Never. But how to start a conversation non-Beachbody related with people you find. So super easy, and it's kind of what I just talked about. It's finding common interest. So I've been really struggling with this because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I never was a conversation person. My vibe is like straight in for the kill, like no BS. Like, you don't want to know about my shirt or my dress or my outfit. I know you want to sell me something. Just tell me what you want to sell me and I'll tell you if I'm interested or not. Do we have any of those people that are just like straight to the point, like no BS? Well, that's how I am. And I am working with Josh Coates, and he has us do 20 connections a day. And this is something that is taking me a very, very long time to do, and a very, very hard and trial and error because I've never done it. And so something that's really working for me right now with connections is not going in there thinking I'm going to sell them something, or going in there thinking like, oh, I have to really, coerce them to talk to them about this. It's really just genuinely going in there to talk to people and talk to a lot of people. But what I have found that is very difficult is a lot of people don't use their social media like I do. Like they don't post every day or even like once a week. They post like once every few months. So it's really hard to engage in older posts. So it does take a little bit more digging. But if you are diligent and look, I first see if they're doing any stories, because I find that it's really easy for me to engage with people that have done stories. So like I can just respond to their story and be like, oh my gosh, that quote is so good, and then ask a question versus that quote. You know, like people share quotes on their stories a lot, or their kids or something like that, because I know it's live time. But if that's not the case, then I will go look at their last post or their last couple and see if there's any interest. If there's not, I move on, because I don't want to try to force interest or conversation with somebody that I literally have no conversation starter, because that just kind of seems weird to me. So how to start a conversation. So the first thing I do is go to their stories. If they have stories, I will reply to those stories and start conversations based on their stories. If it's a quote or a kid or something like that. If they don't, I'll go to their last 3 posts and ask a question based on their last 3 posts. Oh my gosh, girl, that outfit that you were wearing on your last post for your anniversary was so freaking cute. Where did you get it? Or maybe their kid just won an award and you're like, oh my gosh, I just saw your child won an award on doing archery. That is so freaking cool. How long have they been doing it? Something that genuinely interests you. So just asking questions based on those things with no end goal in mind, meaning you're not trying to sell them anything or anything like that. This conversation is just going to gradually progress the way it's supposed to progress. So I hope that helps. So how to find people. So how to find people. This is something my specialty right now, because I'm really growing in a niche market. With announcing my pregnancy, I am really trying to grow my following with first trimester mamas, or, you know, pregnant mamas in general, to relate to. So the way I am doing it right now, so the first thing I like to do is go to pregnancy hashtags. So this is what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to like first trimester hashtags, or, you know, fit mama or something like that, and following the people that are utilizing those first trimester hashtags and stuff like that, which is not a lot. So then after I do that, my favorite way to grow, and the way I've always done it, is I write down 5 interests that I have. So what the heck is that? I don't know. So I write down 5 interests that I have. So my interest, Dunkin', Old Navy. I'm a mom. I love margaritas, and I am obsessed with cussing. So these are like the 5 things that are about me. So I think, what pages do I love to follow? And so there's this really, really like hot mess mom that she has like these quote boards that are like the funniest freaking things ever, basically about keeping your kids alive. And so I will go to her page, because I love her page, and follow her followers, because they obviously love her kind of humor, which is my kind of humor. So we all have one thing in common, and the likelihood of us having more things in common is a lot higher. It's the exact same thing like if you like The Bachelor, right? So you love The Bachelor, like you are Batch Nation all the way, hashtag the whole enchilada. So maybe you follow Chris Harrison. Well, people who follow Chris Harrison obviously love The Bachelor too. So if you follow Chris Harrison's followers, you guys obviously have one thing in common. So the likelihood of you having more things in common is a lot higher. The exact same thing if you have like fashion. You're always posting outfits of the day or things like that. I've really been getting a lot into fashion more, you know, when all my clothes fit. I didn't think I was going to expand this quickly, 8 weeks, but I was into fashion a lot. So I was going like fashion bloggers, but more specifically, I was going to mom fashion bloggers who talked about their moms and their kids and fashion as well, and followed their followers. And then, so that's one way, influencers that you like. Another way that I really like, because I'm really trying to grow a local presence, because I don't have any friends local, like y'all are all the friends I have, and you guys are really all I need. But sometimes, you know, my husband likes me to get out of the house. So what I've been doing, which has really helped, is like I will follow like local coffee shops or my local Chick-fil-A, or I will look at Loganville location and I'll start following people in that location that look like they would be my type of people. So I look at their page or I look at their profile picture and I'm like, oh, well, this person looks kind of like my person and they're local. It would be really cool to connect. And so I will go through that, or I'll like tag like any local places, or go look at the local stories and follow those people. I also use another app. So I know I'm giving you guys a lot of suggestions, so take what you can. So I use an app called Peanut, which is basically like a Tinder for moms. Like I told you guys, I'm psycho and I have no friends except you guys, and my husband thinks that I need to get like mom friends in real life that we go and hang out. But I'm like, why do you really need to like go hang out every day with mom friends? But it's been really cool to meet local moms because I've never had that. I have friends like from high school and stuff, but I had children so young. So none of my friends had kids when I had kids. So it's a local mom app called Peanut where you can literally swipe up or down to talk to a mom. Like if this mom seems like your type of mom, you can swipe up. And then if that mom doesn't seem like your type of mom, you can swipe down. And I've actually signed up quite a few moms on our team from that app, just from simply wanting to get to know more moms and getting to engage with more moms. And that app is called Peanut. And for you non-moms, there's an app for you too. It's seriously Tinder. I think it's called Tinder BFF. And I had that app, but I was, a mom, and a lot of them aren't moms. So that one didn't really work for me, but it's called Tinder BFF. And it's the same way Tinder works, swipe right or left, but it's to find other girls in your local area to hang out with. And so it's really just getting you to learn new people local so you can talk and then maybe have get-togethers and workouts together. You can put your interests like fitness and stuff like that, so y'all already have a common interest there to chat about. And those are just more ways to expand your network. And I know how you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds really sketchy, but I promise you, it's not sketchy. I've met so many moms from there, and we've become really, 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 really good friends. So those are quite a few ways to grow, but you can't grow without engaging. So it does one thing to grow your social media. It does one thing to get new eyes on your page, but you've got to be sending messages to those new eyes. You've got to be engaging with them. So commenting on their stuff, liking their stuff, watching their stuff, so that they know and you can start a relationship. Because you can have so many eyes, but if you're never starting a relationship with those eyes, they're really not going to do anything. And presenting value, you got to make sure that you're giving value, meaning posting every single day, not just post, but to give value. So let me see what else we got. So that was all the questions that we had there. Let's see. Does anybody else have any questions? You can unmute yourself real quick if you do. Anybody?
On the people that you connect with, are you going to their page every day and liking and commenting, or is it just like, when you find something generally interesting on it?
With the people you're adding, or like the people that I connect with, the 20 people I connect with every day?
Like the people you added, like new people you found on your TLs.
So I schedule time to engage with all those people. So I will add people Monday through Saturday, right? And I will add so many people Monday through Saturday, and then I won't add anybody on Sunday. And Sunday is the day I reserve to go in there and engage with the people who have followed me back. So I have an app called Followers, and you can see all the new people who have followed you from when you followed them. And that's when I set aside a good hour to 2 hours to engage with all those people, meaning I do the 3-2-1 method, going and liking 3 of their photos, commenting on 2 of them, and sending them a message just to start engaging with them so we can start a relationship. But I save all that for one day because I found it was super overwhelming to try to do it every single day. And because you can never keep up with the people who are following you, the people who are unfollowing you. So I found that having it one day kind of centered really helped with just staying focused with what was at hand. Does anybody else have any questions? Nobody? All right. So nobody, content, storytelling, showing up, invites. I'm just kind of throwing things out there if anybody has. This is the time to ask, and if you do, speak now or forever hold your peace.
It's still kind of intimidating, you know, you're trying to figure out your own version of things. I'm kind of new to Instagram. Everything else is on Facebook. Always been Facebook.
Yeah.
So trying to figure out, just getting over that uncomfortable feeling like, oh my gosh, this is goofy, or you know, the husband in the next room that's laughing at you.
Oh
or
my God.
mocking
It's
you.
worse when he lays in bed with you watching your stories next to you. It
Yeah.
literally makes me want to cringe. Like, he does it on purpose because he knows how much I hate it, because I've been very vocal about how much I hate it. And so he will seriously listen to me talking, and I don't listen to my stories. So I don't rewatch my stories listening to them because I hate my voice. I hate how I sound. I literally feel like I sound like the biggest fucking idiot in the entire world. But I don't let it stop me. I just avoid the content, the judgy of myself. And so he really, and I won't tell you it gets any easier. It still sucks, especially when it's your husband, and it's annoying, but I just kind of let it roll off and I don't listen. And then he ends up shutting it off. But I'm not going to tell you ever get over it, because you don't. I am a year and a half into this and I'm still not over it. I still hate my voice. I still hate watching my stories. I still hate all that. But you can't let it stop you from your purpose. I always say the bigger the purpose, the smaller the fear. And so you just have to make sure that this is y'all's purpose. Like, you guys have a purpose and why you want to do this every day, because the purpose, as long as it's big enough, that fear is going to be minuscule to it. I am deathly afraid of the judgment. I am deathly afraid of how I sound. Like, I hate all of that stuff. But my purpose is so much bigger that I just kind of avoid that fear and kind of don't put myself in the parts that really makes me feel uncomfortable, meaning listening to myself talk or doing that stuff. And I just say, okay, as long as this touches one soul, as long as this helps one person, it was worth the uncomfortableness. Because, girl, you know, I had no idea about Instagram at the beginning. Remember? I didn't even know what a freaking DM was. Like, I had no idea. But I was obsessed with learning, and I was obsessed with the process of becoming a better me and also helping other women do the same. And so with every woman that I was able to help, it really minuscule. The fear just got smaller and smaller and smaller because my purpose got larger the more lives that I impacted. So the biggest thing I can say with the fear is go change some lives, and it's going to help you get over that very quickly.
How long were you into coaching before you did hosted your own boot camp or got people enrolled? Like, how long did you kind of wait?
So my first one by myself was not until this year. So before that, I always hosted it with somebody else. So I had me and one other person. So I think my second month of coaching, I did my own boot camp, and y'all, it was awful. It was so bad. I have nobody from that boot camp still, and it's probably why. But we all have to figure it out. And so it was a Daisy Dukes summer, some bullshit kind of boot camp. And it was my first one, and I hosted it with another coach, and we just tried and we figured it out. And I think that's the biggest thing is we all are so afraid of failing or falling on our face or making a fool of ourselves, or our clients like saying that was stupid or something like that, that it keeps us from ever trying. And I always say it's not the failing. It's not the art of trying. It is failing. That's never failing. The only time that you fail is when you don't try, is when you let that fear keep you from. So honestly, I did it the second month of my journey, and it was with, I think we had 12 people in it total between the two of us. And it was a hot mess express, and nobody engaged, but I figured it out, and we figured it out as we go. And I didn't really have like a hands-on coach. Like, my coach is bigger, so she was never able to be hands-on and teach us these things. And
Yeah.
so I've adapted and learned just like you're going to. But the best thing is like I'm able to help you in that process and help figure it out with you guys. So I would say go for it and fail forward, because you guys got to get used to sucking. And I know you're like, what the fuck, Allie? But seriously, I was listening to a podcast today and she was saying, she's like, everybody's so afraid to suck at things, but you have to suck before you get better. Like Michael Jordan, freaking how many baskets did he miss? How many times did he miss? Like he didn't even make it to his high school team, but he didn't let that keep him down. He kept practicing. And then now he's like the best of all times, you know? And it's the same thing with a bunch of other people. Like you don't think whatever his face, Einstein just created the light bulb. Was it Einstein? I don't even know who created it. But the person who created the light bulb, it didn't just happen. He sucked for a while. It was trial and error until that light bulb was created. And so don't be afraid to come in and suck. Embrace the suckiness, because the more you suck, the more that you fail, the more that you fall on your face, is the better of a coach you're going to be, because you're going to know what doesn't work for you. Because I can tell you what doesn't work for me all day long. I can tell you, not sending client emails or doing this or doing that never worked for me, but you'll never know what doesn't work for you unless you try everything. So the best way to try is trying sooner. I think that was my long-winded answer to that.
It's all good.
I get on my soapbox, y'all. Just let it happen. Does anybody else have any questions? I gotta finish this gallon, y'all. I'm almost done with my gallon for the day. Hope y'all have gotten your gallons in. Anybody else?
Personal development. I know we've talked about this before. Any good recommendations and staying on task?
Are we talking personal or business development?
Personal development, just our own PD. I am horrible.
Like your mindset, or
yeah. Well, making time for it and doing it, but then also what recommendations do you have as far as some that you've done? Like, I've read Girl Wash Your Face. I did order Shanti's book, T is for Transformation. I haven't even started it yet. But just trying to find things that keep me interested in it, because I am the world's worst when it comes to sitting down and reading a book.
So Josh Coates, I'm working with him, who y'all will get a call Wednesday with. So don't miss that call, because he's literally like the epitome of amazingness. He has me I do 2 types of personal development every single day. So I do reading, I have to read, and I have to do an audio. So every single morning, I read my personal development while I'm drinking my pre-workout. So I wake up and I sit here and I drink my pre as I'm reading, and I read about 5 pages a day. Right now, I'm reading The Slight Edge, which I'm going to do a new coach mentorship here soon, where we're going to do it based around that book. But that's a good business development book, as well as The Compound Effect. Those are 2 of my favorite business development books to really help you develop the fundamentals that it really takes, and that grit that it takes to build a business. After that, I really love Unfuck Yourself, which is from he's like Ireland. I can't listen to the Audible because his accent gives me a headache, but his book is really, really, really good. And then Stop Doing That Shit is from the same author. And it's really good, but I like Unfuck Yourself better. I'm just looking over here at my books. I don't have my glasses on, so it's hard to see. Oh, Own Your Everyday is a really good one. For if you've got like a little religious background, or you really struggle with like multi-passionate stuff, or kind of like your days suck or something like that. And I think that's it right now. Oh, Mastering Your Mean Girl. Mastering Your Mean Girl is a really good one. And then I have tons on Audible. Hold on, let me make sure I'm not missing any of my important ones. And then, of course, there's always tons of podcasts. The Rachel Hollis podcast. Josh Coates has a podcast that I listen to religiously. Be Obsessed or Be Average is really, really, really good. And it's really good. If you're struggling with morning routines, The Miracle Morning is really good. And that's the book that literally called me out on all my bullshit and made me become a morning person, because I said, I'm just not a morning person for a very long time. You Are a Badass. If you're into the universe talk and kind of not hokey, but like, you know, giving it all to the universe and stuff like that, kind of that, what you give out is what you get. I'm not as much, but it was good to listen to, and I interpreted it in my own way. Can't Hurt Me is really, really good. And that's just kind of, if you feel like your life is hard, listen to that book. So those are a few of my favorites. So pick one and just make it a point to read it while you drink your pre every day. Just a few pages. And then I always say read and listen to one, because we all absorb differently. And so making sure we hit it from both ends. So I always read my business development and listen to personal, because personal, I listen to it like through a podcast or something like that. So I always read my business development, which is right now The Slight Edge. And then I will listen to my personal development on the car ride or something like that to really kind of hone that in and bring that all home. Did that help? Yay. Does anybody else have any questions?
Okay, what kind of posts like on your Instagram get you like the most engagement? Like people like in your inbox asking you questions and stuff like that?
Okay, so that's going to be different for everybody. So I always say trial and error. Like everything with this is literally trial and error, with engagement and stuff like that with posts. Right now, my most engaging posts are about my pregnancy. So about, you know, where I'm at in my pregnancy, or asking questions about pregnancy, or posting, you know, self-love pregnancy stuff. That's really my most engaging. But before that was really self-love. So, you know, showing body positivity and really engage, like encouraging within that self-love. But for you, it might be something different. I always say our most engaging posts are the ones we're most passionate about. And I know that sounds really like, oh, hokey, but I'm telling you, because when we're super passionate about a post, it vibes over there. Like you can feel it. And so think about what you're passionate about. Are you really passionate about cooking? Are you really passionate about recipes? Or maybe you're really passionate about homeschooling your kids or being a coach, whatever you're really passionate about. Make that your posts that engage and ask questions at the end, because people are going to, especially your people, your tribe, are going to vibe most with what you're passionate about. And so there's those analytics in the Instagram that you can see. If you go into, so you click your Instagram post, trying to know the exact verbiage, and you go to view insights. You can see, okay, so this one has reached this many people. People have done this many website profile clicks, blah, blah, blah. So you can see how much engagement that post has gotten. And so you'll know, okay, my followers really like this type of content versus they could really do without this, or maybe not as much of this. And so I don't do any inviting on the weekends anymore. What I do is self-assessing on the weekends. So I will do posts all week. And then on Saturday or Sunday, I will sit down with a cup of coffee and I will go through that week of posts and see what was most engaging. What were people liking on my posts? What were I getting comments about? And so I knew that they wanted more of this. So then next week, I would give more of this and less of this, whatever people didn't really care about. And so it's really just trial and error and assessing what your followers really like and also what you're passionate about. And And that's what's really going to help drive that engagement. But you've got to be making sure that you're putting value into it. And so I made the mistake at the beginning, and we all do. We just throw out posts because we hadn't posted in a day or two, and we know we need to get a post up there. So we post a sweaty selfie and say, morning meltdown 100, just kicked my ass, workout number 32, I'm so proud of myself, blah, 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 just to get something up there. But you're not really giving any value or anything because you're just so worried about getting a post up there. I don't ever want you to put one up there just to put one up there, because that is like shooting freaking blanks. It's like literally trying to find a needle in a haystack. What we always want to do is say, is this, the post am I going to be putting up there? Is it going to entertain somebody? It's going to educate somebody? Is it going to inform somebody? Like, that's one thing. Inform, educate, or entertain. And so if the answer is yes to any of those, then great. And then I always ask, how is this going to make them feel? And they're going to laugh. So am I putting it up simply just because I want them to laugh? I want them to find humor in this. Or do I want them to feel connected to me, meaning my story, letting them find themselves in my story to get to this solution? Or am I want to educate them on how to do something? And so then I want them to know they're going to learn something. So I always want to know what their objective I want them to have. And I know this sounds like a lot of work, but it's really not, because you're going to just mentally do all this. You're going to mentally just say, okay, I want to entertain them right now. So I'm going to find some really funny quote, and I'm going to pop it up there with a picture, and it's just going to be funny as hell. And it's really just going to be there to entertain them. Or if I really want to share my story and give them some value and educate. And so you'll do that. And so I really ask those questions, and then make sure I read my story and say, would I like this? And you've got to go with that with an objective mind. Like, would this stop my scroll, image one? And then would I double tap and like this comment? And so once you've done all that, then you know that you're going to be putting up a post that's worth engaging with. Because a lot of the times we don't put up posts that are worth engaging with, but we don't realize that we're doing that. I know at the beginning I didn't. If you guys scroll back, y'all, it was bad. All my sweaty selfies were just checking my workout boxes off. I had pictures of food that just here to post it. Like, it was just, I threw anything and everything up because I knew I had to post. And that was we have to all learn, but it also got no engagement. Wonder why. And so it's all about learning and growing. But those are some of my biggest tips with content creation. And also, I always know my content creation's the best when my personal development's the best, because I get a lot of my ideas from my personal development. So the way I make sure I'm absorbing my personal development is I always make sure I get one post from every single personal development I do. So it makes me listen to the personal development with intent to find value in that little bit that I'm listening to then create a post to present value to other people. Maybe you do it a different way. Maybe you bring that takeaway to your Instagram stories and give everybody one positive takeaway from your personal development every single day. You just have to kind of decide which way you want to spin that with you. But it's a really good way to make sure that you're intentionally listening to your personal development versus passively listening and then listening to your kids in the back screaming, or just freaking listening but your kids are playing around you, so you're playing but trying to listen but you're not really listening, or you're working and trying to listen but then you've got this Beyonce song stuck in your head, so you really don't know anything that's going on. So it's just really to make sure that you are being intentional. Hope that helped. Does anybody else have any other questions? This was really, really good question time. Susan's still here. Can you guys see her? She's hanging on for dear life still. She's my tattoo. It's literally not even a bump anymore. It's seriously a tattoo. I'm like, Suze, honey. No more questions? All right. So we have time for 1, maybe 2 Instagram reviews. Who wants me to review it and give them some feedback? Just put your handle in the comments and I will go ahead and pull up Instagram. Anybody? All right, let's go to Becca.
I'll be tribute. I volunteer.
All right, perfect. Thanks. All right.
So I deleted most of my old stuff, so I don't know what all you'll see.
All right, let's share. Missy, you're like, I need work, or you'll say it before I start. Okay, so here we have Becca, so depression warrior, getting fit and still drinking wine, accountability partner. So I don't really know what accountability partner means. So if I'm like somebody who's just like fresh off the street, I wouldn't really know what that meant. So I don't really feel like that has a place in there. You could do, something with your mission, like what your purpose is, what you really want. Like mine is I really want women to get out of their rut. So just figure that out. But I would just change this part because I don't really know what that means. All right. So we have 6 images. And 1 day ago, so might be mildly obsessed with my Switch. I have put in possibly crazy hours on my copy of Zelda Breathe the Wild, and I'm still looking for all these. Gosh darn, I'm just well, that's humorous. I mean, that's talking to your tribe, so I love that. 2 days ago, still got day 2 workout in and have no one to blame but myself for getting it in so late. Netflix and the line, just more episodes we'll put on Tombstone under why she was late every day. So I like that, but I would put in, that's relating to people. So being late to workouts, not wanting to work out. But then I always like to turn it around a positive to a solution. So I didn't really want to work out and I had no vibe to work out or I had no energy to work out. Like Netflix got the best of me, but I also know that I have my Netflix of Fitness at home. So there's no way for me to avoid it. So I ended up getting my workout in anyways. Did you get your workout in today? That's engaging. It's giving a solution to a problem a lot of people have. So that's just a little bit extra to add to the problem because we always want to post our problem, but always have a solution. So like if you're having depression, that's the problem. That's the objective and what you're doing to cope with it. You always want to spin it and spin it good. So that's what I would add there. 3 days ago, so we got 1 post a day, which is good. Look at Autumn's cute self. And then 32 weeks ago. So I would just stay consistent. It looks like you've just started consistently posting. So I would stick with the once a day, which is great. Once to twice a day is always perfect. I like that all your images are bright, like I can see them. So that's something I really, really, really like. If you ever want to level it up, there's always like presets, like Lightroom presets that you can do, but I do love that they're light and bright. But I would love to see more of you. So here I know that you love video games and you're into fitness and you've just like committed a journey, but I don't know anything else about you. And so people, when they come to your page, they want to know what you're about. So like if you go to, I'm just going to use my page for example. So you know what I'm about from my first photos. So I love Dunkin'. I am pregnant, so that's my journey right now. It's kind of replacing my margarita love. I'm a mom. I am into fitness, and here's where you would read about my business. And so those are all of my things really fished into one, and then there's my fashion. And so it's really just making sure that one of your things is always covered a week. I always say 5 things for 5 days in a week. And so making sure that you talk about one of your things, one of those 5 days. So finding what makes Becca is going to be really, really beneficial for you right now. And then, let's look at your stories real quick.
Yeah, I've been trying to focus on my stories a lot too. In that.
So we've got workouts and we're talking, and I love that. So I always say aim for 10 stories. And so the checklist I use for myself is making sure I story my workouts. I story something versus nutrition. So giving some kind of nutrition hack, nutrition tip. Family, I always want to show my family every single day just to show that I'm more than Beachbody. And then recreation. So 2 posts that are something other than Beachbody, other than coaching, so just 2 other posts. And that's just kind of what my thing is. And that's 2, 4, 6, 8. So that's usually 8 there because each of them will be 2. And so that's really how I make sure that I get enough posts in a day or stories in a day. All right. So let's see who else we have that wants to do it. Weights, wine, and vodka. I love how all of my coaches have alcohol in their usernames. So you can't tell what our team is about, right?
No issues whatsoever.
We don't have an issue. I'm like really sad. I read my handle every day, and then I'm like, I have to stay sober for 7 more months. All right.
That's for good reason, though.
Yes, it's for one of the best reasons. And then my best friend is bringing me a margarita to the delivery room the day I deliver.
I'm still working this. I downloaded the milkshake thing earlier and was trying to play with it. I still got to figure that thing out.
Hey, that is low on the priority list right now. All right, so we've got stories. So we've got 4 talking about tired.
Yeah.
And somebody I know hasn't worked out today. So I would do a little bit more engaging on your stories. Like I said, always shooting for 10, always shooting for showing the varieties of your life. And I know we all work and stuff like that. So don't think you have to show it during the 8 hours you're at work. But when I worked, I showed a little bit before my lunch break. I would say one thing, and then in the evening would be the bulk of my stories, but that's when the bulk of my watchers would be able to watch too. So let's see posts. So your posts are a little dark. And if that's the vibe you're wanting to go with, that's teaches on. There's
I need to do some presets. I need to play with it some.
Okay. But there's just not really any like cohesiveness. So I always recommend presets just because they're easy. You don't have to twiddle with anything. But if not, then I would choose one filter and really stick with that filter. So let's see. The last time you posted was an hour ago, and some change is not easy, but it's necessary in order to grow and evolve. Yeah. So that's perfect. So this is a personal, and I will tell you this is personal up and down. I hate when people post quotes because it's just it's like throwing something up there. I always find that in most engagement is pictures of me with a quote under it. So like if I'm doing something about and suddenly it is time to start anew and trust to change is about to evolve. So I would do a picture of me like embracing change. So maybe smiling, or maybe it was my hair or something like that, which is a little different, and then give meaning behind the quote. So I always do a picture of me, the quote, and then how I interpreted it. And I always find that adds just more value than throwing the quote up and people seeing it and being like, that's cool. But there's really nothing for them to connect with. And again, that's personal. A lot of people are successful at sharing quotes on their page, but I do know that if you're going to share them on your page, just ensure that you're going to have them like in a organized manner so it looks aesthetically pleasing. And then we have 13 hours ago. Hey, they're good looking. All right, I don't see
Where is the?
Oh, there it is. Thank you for not giving up. Oh, I already read this one and I loved it. I loved it because you're adding value. You're talking about, I loved it. So here she is. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for giving up making the decision to put yourself first. She's just thanking herself for all the decisions that she made, and then giving value at the end, saying, decide to make time for yourself, decide to make yourself a priority. And I love that. And then doing the call, the action at the end. Enrollment is now open for my boot camp. Why wait to the new year to start that resolution? So I love that. And that was 13 hours ago. And then we have a week ago. So I would for sure work on consistently posting. And I know that you're a new coach, so I know that's not something really high on the priorities list right now. Well, it is now, but it wasn't.
Well, it is now that I got access to
yeah, I had to change my verbiage right there. I was like, it wasn't, and now it is. So I would really just focus on posting, like I said, once, twice a day, and figuring out what your 5 things are. So what are the things that make you you? If it wasn't for your name, I wouldn't have known you like vodka. Like, I don't see you enjoying a cocktail or anything like that. I see right here that you're on a journey. There's empty shelves. I don't really know why.
I talked about the hurricane here last week.
Oh, okay. Then you love the salt life. You love the water, which I know that from the fact. So sharing a lot of that, you're a dog mom, and then you're into nutrition. So I would just figure out what your 5 things are, what those things that make you you and that you feel like you can talk about, and start sharing those more. And so maybe it's sharing your cocktails, or maybe it's doing those things that really make you you and adding value in there, but figuring out those things. And like I said, sharing 1 a day for 5 days. And then the weekends, of course, sharing other things. All right. Does anybody else have any questions or anything? If not, you can put your camera on real quick. I want to get a picture, and then we can scoot. I hope this helped y'all tonight. And do not forget that Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the call with Josh, and I will put the reminder in our team page. Okay. All right, y'all. Smile. All right. I love you guys, and I shall see y'all later. Bye.